one of the hardest things that we find today with immigrants is landing that job. And are there, and I'm sure there is, solutions on how immigrants can go and find that thriving career in Canada. Welcome to another episode here at Tomachek Financial team. We're happy and excited to be here. I'm extra happy because Pierre is not here, which is a good thing, because we've got fresh new perspective this week, and we are pretty excited when we can have fresh new perspective, but we do enjoy having Pierre whenever he is here. He might be here next week because I might take a week off, which is deserving. Depending on what's going on. How are you today? We have Michelle Gibson. Is that right?
Yeah.
Did I get the full name? No,
almost.
I didn't get the full name. Almost. So we've got Michelle with us. Thank you for joining us today. We appreciate you coming on our podcast series. And you can see that you're going to be talking about your new book here, Finding a Thriving Career in Canada.
We are, and I'm excited to have this conversation. So thank you for inviting me.
All right, we're pretty excited to have you. So you want to tell us a little bit about you and who you are? Who's Michelle?
Who's Michelle? So Michelle Gibson Morgan is an ambitious immigrant professional who landed in Canada approximately 16 years from whenever we're recording this podcast. So it's been a while. And I have been fortunate to have had increasing roles of responsibility over the years, and my passion for helping other people develop themselves led me to finding some solutions that new immigrants and immigrants who want to have a great career can get some tips, some strategies, and learn from other folks who've had the journey that they're on as well.
So, that's quite inspiring, and Canada over the years have brought a lot of immigrants into the country, and we still see that to this day. So, without getting into the book just yet, what are some of the things that you experienced as an immigrant that probably inspired maybe this book?
Yeah, I guess the question is, how much time do we have for this podcast? There's a lot to say there, but I'll share a few things that might be relatable to your audience. So I've experienced being the uncertain immigrant, trying to find that sense of direction in the beginning.
Right.
I've experienced being the underemployed immigrant in terms of not yet being in the role that matched the level that I wanted to be at. I've been the underpaid immigrant at different points, that even on that journey to advancing my career, not necessarily landing the ideal salary that I was aiming for. But the good news is I eventually did find my way to where I wanted to be, and be in a position of leadership and in a position to influence the career trajectory of other people. So I've learned a few things along the way that I hope will inspire other immigrants to find a reason to be optimistic, especially with some of the challenges that we're facing right now.
It's immigration is always a topic of debate and contention. Probably, I want to say every 5 years, that's a topic of debate and contention. And for you to be able to find a solution, right? Maybe one word you can sum up to say what has brought you to this point. What would you say?
I think that word would be ambition.
Ambition.
I've always felt that there is more to aspire to. There's more impact to make. There's more influence to have. There are more people to serve along that journey. Excellent. So I think ambition is that word for me. Excellent.
So, let's get into the book. What would have, you've decided to write this book, and what would have inspired that, first of all? And what are some of the things that when we go through the book that we can, as immigrants, we can benefit from?
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this book because I anticipate it's going to have a big impact and it's going to empower a lot of people. The inspiration really came from a season when I was working in the Immigrant Welcome Center in Ajax, and having learned on a more individual level the stories of different people that I had to help to find their way around the different challenges, whether it was those who wanted to enter regulated professions and not knowing how to get through those licensing processes, or do I just ditch this
Yeah,
altogether
yeah,
and
yeah.
try something else? Or whether it was the persons who weren't sure what to do about their educational credentials, those they earned here or elsewhere, how to leverage that along the way. So it's really the journey of helping other immigrants and the possibility that at a bigger scale, beyond the 300 or so people that I've helped on their journey, that more people, it will reach more people in the form
right,
of a book that can go much further than I could probably end up at some point.
So, you mentioned that all of this you can find in the book. One of the issues that a lot of immigrants face today is, as you said at the beginning, you were underpaid. There were situations where you took on jobs that you were far qualified for, etc. One of the hardest things that we find today with immigrants is landing that job. And are there, and I'm sure there is, solutions on how immigrants can go and find that thriving career in Canada?
Yeah, and I quite agree with you. The idea is that in the beginning, your priority is on your effective marketing of yourself as an expert, and doing it in a way that you're customizing your message to the specific audience that you're engaging with at any point in time. So whether it's on your LinkedIn, your resume, your cover letter, in a networking conversation, you have to know what is it that is your personal brand that you want to put out there, and also not being shy about marketing your accomplishments. That's one of the biggest things that I've had to coach people through, especially if you come from a cultural background where talking about yourself and your accomplishments is not necessarily considered a positive thing. People might think that you're being boastful or arrogant, but really in the Canadian market, it's the best marketers that will get ahead with whether it's that first job or that promotion that people are after.
Right.
You have to learn how to market yourself well in the digital and in the physical space that you're in.
And without that, without letting people know who you are, then how can you be able to land that role that you're expecting, right? Because if you don't, people will not know your abilities. People will not know that you're capable of such. And that's why you need to be able to show yourself just a little bit off, whether you said networking, LinkedIn, whatever platforms you're going to use. And of course, you can find all of that in this book.
Yes, and I get into it in more detail, the tactics that people need in the book as well. But I'll tell you, one of the things that changed my mind completely was reading Daniel Pink's book, To Sell Is Human. It completely changed my perspective of how to do this, because the premise of the book is we're all in sales, whether we believe it or not.
That's true.
And especially when it comes to our career path and our career decisions, it is that you're always selling an idea, you're selling your capabilities, or you might be in a role where you are selling a product or service, but 9 times out of 10, it's who you are, what you're great at, and your capabilities that you're trying to market to another audience at all times.
I think that is amazing. That's amazing. We're always in a position of sales where whether we're pitching that idea, whether we're having a conversation with someone, they're listening on the other end. And we just have to be able to say the right words to capture their attention. And I'm sure you can find so much more in the book, Finding a Thriving Career in Canada, written by Michelle Gibson Morgan. So where can we find the book?
The book is available on my website, michellegibsonmorgan.com. It's also on Amazon as well, so persons can get it from either sources. So
go on Amazon, go to Michelle's website, buy the book, have it shipped overnight, prime delivery. All right, get your book, get your copy, and there's so much here that you can learn from this book. You want to have yourself a copy of this, and it will be so beneficial for you. Trust me, it's an amazing read, and you're absolutely going to love it. So, Michelle, before we go, you want to tell us I know is this your first book?
This is actually my second book.
Oh, second book. Amazing.
But this one, in an ideal world, would have been the first one. But here we are, and it's ready for persons to change the trajectory of their career.
Excellent. So I just want to ask you, what's the future for Michelle Gibson Morgan in terms of publishing? Are there new projects on the horizon?
There are a couple of smaller projects on
excellent.
the horizon. My goal for 2025 is to provide other resources that will complement what's in here.
Excellent.
So I'm making smaller ebooks that I'm distributing through my
Excellent.
digital store. So, for
right.
example, this book talks about how to get promotion and advancement opportunities. And so I've made an ebook about how I've leveraged LinkedIn very well to be able to do that. And I've also done an ebook about what might be stopping you from getting that promotion that you're aspiring for. So it's smaller projects that will complement what's happening with this book.
I need to go find that ebook right now. I might be lined up for a promotion in 2025, and I don't know I'm there, right? So
Go for it.
We
Go
can go
for
to your
it.
website and we can find that, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Michelle, for coming on today. We had an absolute great time with you. Of course, you're going to come back next week and you're going to share more about specifics. And we thank you so much for joining us today.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you so
Excellent.
much. It's been a great conversation.
Thank you. That is it for us this week on our podcast series, TFT Teams podcast series on YouTube. You can join us again. We catch you on the next one.